sexism and racism and things of that nature. So if you would just share a little bit of some of the things that you've touched on that issue, because you have definitely touched on that in some of your theater work.
Absolutely. I run a theater company with my mother and my family called Mojoa Performing Arts Company, Mojoaa, and it stands for Monet, Jordan, Aaron, me and my brother's name smashed together. And we have done work around like domestic violence and thinking about domestic violence, especially through Black communities and like the specificity of those experiences. And then personally, in my own arts practice, I do work that's deeply vulnerable and deeply like coming from my own life experience. And again, like because of my identities and the intersections of those identities, I can't talk about my life without talking about what it means to be a Black girl, what it means to be a queer Black woman. So inevitably, me telling my truth is going to bring up themes of gender and sexuality and racism and sexism, because like those are the things that I experience in my day-to-day. So some of the ways that we've explored that in the second show of the trilogy that I produced last year, I looked at experience and perspective and identity and put it in the realm of a circus. So thinking about the way that we perform ourselves, the way that we, wear masks, the way that we, put on things, whether it's hair or clothes or colors or other people, to try to hide ourselves from ourselves. But at the end of the day, all we have is like our bodies and our skin and our ways and our past and our future. And what does it mean when we can just accept those things? We don't even have to like it. We just like, yes, these are my knees, these are my flabby arms, this is my body. Like what happens? And what I believe happens is like a disrupting of capitalism. Because if I know that I have like, flabby arms, and someone says, "Oh, you have flabby arms, let me sell you this product," I'm like, well, I already know that, and I'm doing just fine. So, and I think that's really powerful for us to just say, I see myself, and I am loving and accepting myself.
Definitely. Dean, I believe I heard another bell. We're just rolling with bells today.
Yeah, we keep rolling with bells, and we'll bring them in right after this.
Bass players, best thing you can do for your overall sound. You've got to see this. New Basstone Incorporated makes Nightwalker bass guitar tube preamps. This preamp will give your sound such a boost, it's just incredible. Try it today. Try it today now. A great sounding bass guitar will make for a great sounding band. Make your band sound at its best. Best thing you can do for your bass guitar sound. NewBassTone.com. NewBassTone.com.
And we're back with Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. Thank you for calling the show, man. Ask who we have on the line this evening.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Benjamin Schnau speaking, right from Los Angeles. Hello.
How are you doing?
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Doing good as well. And if I remember correctly, because I remember reaching to you as Facebook as well, I believe that you do comedy also. Am I correct?
No, I'm actually an actor, singer, songwriter from LA.
That's right, singer-songwriter from L.A. So tell us a little bit about how you got involved in the arts and things of that nature. So part of what we love doing on this show is talking to creatives and finding out how they got involved. We've got Monet from right here in Durham, who is an actress, theater person, and just
right.
all around artistic person. And then we've got Art, who is out of Asheville, North Carolina, who has done stand-up and is a comedian and improv person. So now we've got the singer-songwriter. So tell us how you got involved in the arts. And for all of you, after you tell us that, I'm curious as to what kind of advice you give to others that want to get into the arts, because I know that can be a very difficult thing, because everybody thinks that they want to be an artist, and I'm sure that there's advice that you give to people.
Yeah. Hi, everyone, first of all. Hi, everyone on the line. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I'm an actor, singer, songwriter, right? So just want to make sure that we have that all. So the thing is, I'm originally from Europe, right? So that means I'm from Germany, originally born and raised in Germany, and I basically started my acting career back in theater, right? So I started in Germany, doing a lot of plays and worked my way up a little bit to bigger stage plays and stuff like that. But at some point, I basically realized, oh my God, if you want to make a living also at some point, I mean, it's passion on the one side, but you also have to make a living, right? So, and I just realized, okay, there is definitely more going on in film and television. And that was basically the time for me to leave Germany and also move to the UK. So I lived in London for 4 years. And the industry outside of Germany, especially in the UK and also now in the US, it's much bigger than in Germany, right? So there's a lot more opportunities. And after 4 years in London, after doing like a lot of commercials and feature films and stuff like that, I just decided to give it a shot in Los Angeles. Because, you know, at some point, especially us Europeans, I don't know how familiar you are with that, but we always have this kind of desire, especially in the art, to come to LA and make it happen. So, and now I'm here, right? So I'm the German guy in LA, you know, trying to make it work. And that's what I'm basically doing for the last 2 years, right? And I'm always saying, like, if someone has the passion and really the desire to make it in art, you basically just have to give it a shot. But I'm always believing that you have to be prepared for it. So you can't just come to LA and just think it's just going to happen. I think you have to have kind of an idea of who you are and what your skill set is, and then basically come here and work really hard on that. And also persistency is one of my main things that I'm believing in, right? If you have the discipline, the talent, and the persistency, I believe you can make something work in this town, right? Just to sum it all up. So that's basically about me, right? So.
Okay, and just out of curiosity, because I'm just wondering how you would address this. I know one of the things that people have said, and it was definitely popular during the Harlem Renaissance, and I think it's even popular now, is that a lot of times people feel that the arts, even though you're right, a lot of people from Europe and Asia want to come here and become successful in the U.S., but a lot of times people feel that the arts gets more respect in the other countries. You came from one of those other countries, and I was wondering if you would agree with that, because I know that even here, and Monet, have you ever traveled outside of the country? Because I was wondering if you would agree with that as well, if you have, and Art, if you've traveled outside of the country. But I know that is something I've heard historically, is that a lot of times people feel that the arts gets more respect outside of the U.S., even though the U.S. is where the arts is supposed to be king in terms of, like, the more global popularity.
Yeah. Do you want me to start, or Monet, you want to go first?
Yeah, you start.
Okay, sure. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Monet. I'm sorry.
I have traveled outside the country, but I was much younger before I was like a quote unquote professional artist. But even in the way that the funding mechanism of art in the UK and Europe, and even in Mexico has a better funding mechanism for art nationally than we do in America. So if we just looked at where we put our money, art and culture is not king in America in comparison.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very interesting point, and I thank you for asking that question, by the way. I think that's a very interesting question because, you know, coming from Europe, like when it comes to German film industry, when it comes to the French film industry, I feel like the stories that we Europeans create are more kind of these kind of relationship-driven stories. You know what I mean? So I mean, for us, we're not really focusing on, let's say, the big action movies or the big science fiction movies and stuff like that. So for us, it's more about the kind of, as I said, relationship-driven stories, more about the art and how we're going to shoot it and what real kind of meaning we have behind that. I think that's where the focus is. But when it comes to also the business side of things, you know, because at the end of the day, it sounds maybe bad to some people, but it's also a business at the end of the day. I definitely feel that the U.S. has a lot more focus on art in general when it comes to the music industry, when it comes to the film industry. I think, I mean, especially about my history, right? I mean, I can't talk about it. I'm German. We had, you know, the war and all that kind of stuff. And obviously, the film industry never really completely recovered from that. So we have film industry, don't get me wrong, but it's not as big as in the U.S. or in other countries, for example, in the UK. Because our focus, as you all know, is more in engineering and manufacturing. We are good in building cars and machines and stuff, you know? So and that was one of the reasons for me also to leave and just see what's out there.
And how has the LA scene been treating you? Because you've been out in LA now, you said, for 3 years. And have you had success?
Yeah.
Have you landed any major parts or anything that you would that you're really proud of in the time that you've been out there? And have you found it difficult to break into the scene?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I mean, it's really like when I'm German, right? So I mean, how are the Germans? We always have a plan, or we think we have a plan, you know, and we come to LA and we think, okay, our plan is going to work. But seriously, guys, after a couple of weeks, I just realized, oh my God, it's very unpredictable in LA, right? It's very unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. You can just meet someone in Starbucks and out of a sudden he's one of the biggest film producers or music producers. And that's really something I feel you have to kind of go with the flow a little bit. I think you still need to know what you're capable of, and I think you also need to embrace that. So, for me, for example, I mean, I'm German, right? I have my German heritage. I speak German, and people tell me that I look German too. So obviously, my focus is also to embrace my German side, because that's my advantage right now. And people tell me that all the time. That Ben, you are German, you speak German, just use it for your advantage right now and make yourself a little different than maybe to other people. And that's really something that took me a while to understand, to be honest. Because at the beginning, we always talk about stereotypes and stuff like that. You don't really want to be typecast, and no one likes that. But at the end of the day, that's something you also have to accept. I'm a strong believer that if you can accept that certain people in the industry, especially at the beginning, see you a certain way, then maybe you're going to really have a hard time to basically work your way up, because I think that's how it is right now. And as soon as you may be more established by doing these things, by doing maybe roles that you're not really completely into, maybe then at some point eventually you get the opportunity to do something that you like to do even more. So, and that's definitely something I think you have to understand. And, for me, I was working really hard over the last 2 years, so I was really trying to get in touch with people. There are a lot of networking events in LA, and, you have like all these websites, and most importantly is obviously that you also have to become SAG or SAG eligible, so that you're part of the union, so that you can be cast for bigger movies, for bigger TV shows. And that was basically something that I was able to do last year. So now, ready for pilot season right now, we are always trying to go on the next pilot, and that's basically something which is happening right now for the next 3 months. And now everyone is coming to town, everyone is going crazy and is trying to make it happen.
Monet, he actually brings up an interesting point, because that's one of the complaints that folks have had in the past about sometimes the African-American theater, because sometimes people would play, and I'm thinking about like somebody like Tyler Perry, they would play to the stereotype, and then they would flip that after they played to the stereotype to then go into what they considered their message medium. And some people would even argue that to some degree that Spike might have even done that. But I was wondering how you address that, because he's right that sometimes people feel that they have to play to the stereotypes to some degree, and then they may have a whole message that's different from that they want to express, but they're not comfortable doing it, so they feel that the industry won't buy it, because we know that now what Black Panther was very popular, and there'll probably be 1,001 Black Panther sequels now, or
right.
knockoffs.
So I think that one, stereotypes are really fascinating to me, because I think they are born out of some truth, and then they are made one-dimensional often, and that's where the problem is. Like people talk about Medea, like someone has a grandma or aunt like Medea. I don't, but someone does, and that is why there is some connection with these characters, because we can sometimes see ourselves in them. I believe in multiplicity. Right? I believe that there is room for Tyler Perry and for Spike Lee and for Ava DuVernay and for Issa Rae and for all the other folks, the Barry Jenkins, like all the other folks who are also creating art. And I don't need anyone to stop what they're doing. I just know that I can go and enjoy the art that speaks to me, right? The other thing about not using stereotypes is you have to be really vulnerable about yourself. And sometimes even artists create art, but they're not being honest truly with themselves or with one another or with their art form. So they are trying to, again, because we go back to capitalism, we're trying to make money. We're going to look at, okay, what's selling? Black Panther made $1 billion. Let's make a black superhero movie. And then you're right, we're going to get lots of superhero movies. But at the same time, we're also getting, Issa Rae. We're also getting the movie Little with Regina Hall and Issa Rae. You know what I'm saying? So there are people who are like, yes, that's nice, that's fantastic, and I have another idea. I have another story. And, another place that black art that isn't being picked up by networks is flourishing is like online. There are a lot of really fantastic black web series that are, all types of stories that would not get picked up by the Netflixes or the Hulus or network television, but they're needed and they're necessary. And so I think if people need to use the stereotypes for their stories, then they can have at it. I may not be the audience for that, and that's okay because there's 7 billion people on the planet, and hopefully they'll find their audience.
And Art, I imagine that that's even been the case with comedy, because I mean, for a while there, you're right. There was only a few comedy clubs around the country, and now